it is now 11:30. We will begin our board briefing. Mr. Superintendent, do we have any public comments or presentations this morning?
Comments from the comments. We do have a special guest who's on the way coming in right now. I'd like to make a few comments.
Yeah, it's exciting. That would be exciting. Yes. So excited. Hey, sir. So glad you made it. How you doing?
Good morning.
Hey, good job.
The superintendent has asked me to come in and address this group.
I'm sure you got a joke for us.
I don't know how much longer y'all gonna be able to put up with him after a decision like that. But I do appreciate it though, but he asked me a couple of months ago to come in and serve with the committee to select the teacher of the year here. And the first response I would make to that is, first of all, thank you, Mr. Dyer, for including the older folks into something like this. And secondly, for years, we used the standard of teacher evaluation, even though we had to fill out all the bubbles on the forms to meet the state regs in there. Our evaluation standard was, if we would want you to teach our children, then we will let you teach somebody else's. And the teachers in which I was privileged to visit and observe the last couple of days, I can say to you, I would let any of them teach my grandchildren. Wouldn't want to teach my children now because all of my children they're supposed to be out of school. And but for my grandchildren, yes, I would. And thank you so much for letting me do that. I said this once before, but it's okay for you to hear it again. I'm not sure how much Mr. Youngblood listened to me from time to time, but for the most part, I felt like he did in there. But I said once before that Ulysses, when he was talking about his travels, he said, "I'm a part of all I've ever met." And I wanted to just repeat to you guys that you are still a part of what I met in there. And thank you so much for the relationship that we established back in 2013, and that was a while ago. I get it, and it's been a while for that. And I would close with just saying that Maya Angelou said one time, I wasn't there when she said it, but she says, people will not remember what you say, and people will not remember what you do, but they never forget for how you made them feel. And from day one, this board made us feel very, very welcome, and it was very supportive. And on behalf of my friend who's no longer with us, I want to say thank you again, and thank you for the privilege, Mr. Superintendent, to come and visit the school district again. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for your service on that
Good
committee.
to see you. Thank you.
Next, we'll review the agenda items, and have time to ask questions or make comments. Mr. Superintendent, will we need an executive session?
Yes, ma'am. We will need an executive session for personnel, real estate, and student. Mr. Cohen, pending litigation or litigation. That we cover personnel. we had a dismissal, I think.
Okay, so, all right. Do we have any questions or comments about the agenda, board members? Item number 1, okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. Item number 1 is consideration of the approval of the minutes from the regular board meeting held Monday, March 14th. Item 2, consideration of recommendation for employment of personnel. We did have, I think we all got that page swapped out that had one additional name on there.
That
And an
was,
addendum.
Yeah, that was Miss
Ms.
Collins.
Collins,
Yeah,
yes.
we actually confirmed that after the books were put together and delivered to the board members, what we did include it in the online version. So the online version is correct, but I want to make sure we got the board members the correct version. And then the addendum that the Vice Chair just mentioned includes Ms. Christine Ford, who served as a temporary administrator at Northside and during the absence of the principal. That'll be a recommendation addendum to me.
Okay. Item 3, consideration of recommendation for release of personnel. Any questions or comments?
I had a question. The job abandonments, do we try to reach back out, or they just don't show up and we don't reach back out
Yeah,
to them?
we make contact when they don't show up to work, and we attempt to make contact multiple times, and we don't hear back from them. They don't show up to work, we put them in as a job back.
Okay, I just saw that there were quite a few. And
It's amazing. We interview, make the offer, and some of them just don't show up. Sometimes they accept. We talk to some of them, they accept the other offers and things of that nature, and some of them just don't respond.
I know I've seen one or two, but not like that. The retirements, is that a usual amount, or is it something? Because it's just, when I was looking at it, it just seemed like quite a few for the last 3 or 4.
But yes, ma'am, we inquire beginning in January about the intentions of employees, whether they're coming back, so we can hone in our recruitment efforts. And that's the time they usually let us know. They start sending retirements in beginning in January, and you'll get those through the end of the school year.
So I was just trying to, and I know we can't estimate what it was, but I was just hoping, because COVID is closing in, we're at the end part, that they're not retiring because of the regulations with that. But most of these that said earlier they would be.
Yes, ma'am. They we're seeing an increase. It's been a tough couple of years for teachers, for educators in general, particularly classroom teachers. And after the first year of COVID, we didn't see an increase in retirements. After 2 years of it, we're seeing a little more. That's statewide. I have the pleasure of serving on the teacher retirement system board of trustees, and we look at this data every month, and we're seeing an uptick in retirements. And I think it may also be the new legislation that just recently passed, that I'll update you on a little later, that allows teachers to retire, stay out for 1 year, and then come back and work full time. So some people may be getting a jump on that as well.
Tell Miss Hubble she can't come back.
Nope.
Yes.
Question.
Okay.
On item 2, just out of curiosity, you change your status for a lot of the classified and certified staff. Are those end of the year transfers, or are they?
Yes, sir. You see we put 22, 23 on the outside.
Okay, I apologize.
Yes, but that's for the
I didn't see
certified.
that.
Now, some of the classified are effective immediately, but the ones that impact the classroom, we approve those for effective the 22-23 school year. We have an internal transfer period where we have employees who may want to transfer from one building or location to another, and we do that prior to going out and making outside hires, so we'll know whether vacancies will be, and so we list those on the agenda for board approval. Then we'll know what vacancies will remain in what building.
I missed the 22.
I didn't see
Yes,
the
sir, that's right.
2023 either. Thank you.
All right, item number 4, 4A, fundraising request. Any questions or comments there? And 4B, out-of-state field trips. Any committee reports?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to make a comment, please.
Yes, of course. Go ahead, Reverend Bush.
Yes. First of all, I would like to just thank Mr. Willis for his stewardship, and I got the gist of his message, and it was very well received. Thank you, Mr. Willis. But I just want to make a comment here about the money, and we have had very outstanding reports on our money, and I've always said that we can pat people on the back and tell them how great they are, laugh in their face, and talk about them behind their back, but we have had an stewardship of handling our money. And I was looking at the bottom line in reserve for, I guess, Monday. I think we met Tuesday. But it is just commendable, and I just wanted to ask Mr. Dodd one question, if I could. Is this tied into the $3 million that we just received from the Georgia Power million?
Does the no, so that's the general fund reserve that was presented at the finance committee meeting Tuesday. I think it was Wednesday. Does not reflect the Georgia Power grant. The Georgia Power grant is private funding, and the reserve that we reported at the finance committee meeting was all general fund.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your stewardship, you and the financial staff and all. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Okay, at this time, Mr. Superintendent, are you prepared to do your superintendent's report? Okay.
Report for March 31st. Of course, we'll start as we always do with our COVID-19 data, and we'll go over our strategic plan update with a couple of initiatives, and then legislative updates and some celebrations and some announcements. Our COVID-19 data, as of today, I'm sorry, the 31st, not the 11th, our rolling average for new cases in Dougherty County is 1.33. On September, on March 11th, it was 1.86, so we've gone down slightly since then. Our 14-day spread is considered low. Our 2-week change is decreasing. Our PCR positivity rate is 0.5%. It was a 0.3 on the 11th, so it's a little up, but still nothing to be concerned about it at this point. There's a new variant, I understand, BA, that's around and makes up the majority of the cases in the United States right now, but we have not seen any effects of that in this community so far. Phoebe, again, that's as of the 31st, not the 11th, had 10 COVID-19 patients. That's down from 20 on the 11th of March. Our vaccination update, ages 5 to 9, 14.2% have had one dose. That's up 0.4% from the last report. Ages 10 to 14, 33.1%. That's up from 32.8 from the last report. Ages 15 to 19, 39.4%. That's up slightly. And the total doses percentage of one dose and fully vaccinated in Georgia, they have not gone up percentage-wise. They've been increasing in numbers, but not enough to move the percentages. So I think probably because of the low numbers we've been experiencing, the sense of urgency has waned, and we are seeing a decrease in demand. The CDC has authorized the fourth dose, the second booster, for those people who are 50 years old and older. And so we may see an increase in the number of people taking vaccines. I don't know if they will, you have to have that second dose, that second booster to be considered fully vaccinated. So I don't know how that will affect these percentages. We should see an increase in the number of people going to get the vaccine. But more than likely to probably be those who have already been vaccinated and boosted. They're just getting the additional booster. We'll keep monitoring this as we have been over the last several months and keep reporting out. Our strategic plan, of course, we try to give you an update on that, on these items periodically. The academic rigor and relevance for all students is our second priority area, with our first priority area being early literacy. Then another priority area is family and community engagement. I want to announce, Reverend Bush mentioned this, a partnership, Equity Through Education is a partnership that we have to enhance education equity efforts in partnership with Georgia Power, Georgia Power, the funding partner, and Albany Tech is our higher ed partner. And what that does is that provides us with three things we want to do. We're going to focus on, first, the relevance in education. As we know, all students are not going to a four-year school. We understand that. And but the graduation requirements in the state of Georgia, the courses that you have to take qualify you for entry into a four-year school. Your GPA might not get you in the school, in all schools, but the courses you take qualify you for entry. And so we've been having discussions about this for quite some time, about the relevance of taking those courses that prepare you for a four-year program when you have no interest or desire to go into a four-year program. So we have been working with the state, and the state has approved, it's been approved for a couple of years. We're going to launch ours next year, our career-focused graduation option, whether you take a set of high school courses that are required, but you have several electives that you can take that are career-focused, and you can qualify for a regular high school diploma, just like the high school diploma that you get right now. But you will leave with 2 technical college certificates, or a technical college diploma, or an associate's degree. And the program we're focusing on is, right now, the one where you provide the students earn 2 technical college certificates, so they have credentials in job fields, high-demand job fields, that they can go directly into the workforce. One thing that's missing from that would be work-based learning opportunities. Be able to go to the job site, whatever job that is, and get an internship to get work-based learning opportunities and some experience. Now, we all know that some of our students work part-time jobs to help their ends meet, or they have extra money in their pocket. So not unpaid internships, although they're valuable in terms of experience, they're not very attractive economically. That's one of the barriers to having work-based learning opportunities. And we do have one for partners like P&G, the Marine Corps Logistics, basically just to deal with them to provide work-based learning opportunities paid. Phoebe Putnam Memorial Hospital has a CNA program. Webster Rock. We have other employers who would love to have student interns, but for whatever reason can't afford to pay them as interns. So this is going to provide us with funding to pay the interns $10 an hour. So they won't have to choose between working a part-time job to earn money and getting valuable work-based learning experience. This will provide us the resources to provide them with the opportunity to work, as well as the funds, so they won't have to forego an opportunity to work an intern because they need to work at another place to make money. So that's wonderful, particularly for those students who are from traditionally underserved households, economically challenged. So this is certainly going to be an opportunity for them. A second phase of that is supporting parents. We have parents in the Dougherty County schools who go to work every day, but they work in jobs that don't pay a living wage, don't have benefits, and they can't command that because they don't have job skills that put them in demand for those higher paying jobs. So this is also going to focus on upskilling and reskilling parents We work with Albany Tech to identify 5 program areas that have short-term credentialing in high-demand fields. So we're in the process now of identifying those parents, provide them with information about these opportunities. Albany Tech has agreed that they would establish cohorts that provide evening and weekend courses, so those parents that are working during the day during traditional hours, they won't have to quit their job to go to school. And at the end of that program, or the study, we will have job fairs for those employers in those particular areas to interview those parents and hopefully hire them immediately so they can go to work, and that'll make an immediate impact on those households. The plan we have with our students is going to be impactful, but it's going to take a while. They have to go through high school, graduate high school, then get the job. The effort with the parents has the potential to be impactful immediately within months, and so that's certainly exciting for us as part of our outreach to our family as well as our families as well as our communities. The third part of this is focusing on our STEM efforts, particularly our robotics. This will provide an annual stipend over the next 4 years to each of our robotics teams at the elementary, middle, and high school level, provide them with the resources they need. Our robotics teams do a great job with meager resources compared to some other well-funded robotics teams. And so we're going to provide them with a supplement, a stipend, or an allotment. I forgot exactly how much it is. I think it's $3,000 for elementary, $5,000 for middle, and I think $10,000 or so for high school per year for the next 4 years. So that'll provide the equipment that they need, things of that nature. So we're putting our money where our mouth is, and our students have been performing quite well without the supplement. But I think this is certainly going to help them take their robotics teams and our STEM efforts to another level. So I want to thank Albany Tech for their agreement to work with our parents and these targeted programs. Certainly want to thank Georgia Power for their stepping up to provide $3 million over a 4-year period. It's about $750,000 a year for the next 4 years. And after that, I think we have people standing in line because they'll see the results of this program. We have people standing in line to be the next funding partner to do that. And we're really excited about this opportunity. It has the potential to be transformational. And we're really excited about it. And it's going to create a wonderful opportunities for our students and our parents. And we're looking forward to launching these in full beginning with next school year. Any questions about that? I know this. I think I've been given reports saying we have an announcement to make with a corporate partner. I can't release the details yet, and this is it. So just in case you were wondering, this is the one, and we're excited about it. They're partnering with 3 other districts in the state: Augusta, Richmond, Clayton County Public Schools, and Augusta, Clayton, and Savannah Chatham. Savannah Chatham. Yeah. All right. The next area is just a reiteration of the last meeting. We talked about our need to invest in human capital, and Ms. Poole mentioned the number of retirements. They're not unusually high, but the challenge is the pipeline that we used to have to replace retirees is not as robust as it has been in the past. So although the retirements are the same, the pool of replacements is down significantly, and so we have to be very strategic in the way we recruit and attract our prospective teachers, and that starts with finances. In the metro area, you start out with $50,000 a year, and that's difficult to come back when you're paying $38,000 a year. Of course, we don't pay that now, but a few years ago, we've been increasing that. Looking at a base teacher pay, and our budget includes these number of base teacher pay for a bachelor's degree of $43,000. Recruitment incentive range from $2,000 for every new teacher, $4,000 for special education teachers. They are hard to come by, and it has reached, in my opinion, crisis level with special education. Those are almost vulnerable students. They need intensive intervention and support, and we can't find special education teachers throughout the state of Georgia. So $4,000 for those teachers, $4,000 for teachers who work in federally identified schools, comprehensive support, property support schools, and we have 4 of those. Retention incentive that the board approved earlier for all employees annually, $2,500, which is $1,250 in the first part of the year, $1,250 in the second part of the year, for a total minimum pay for first-year teachers being at least $47,500. That puts us close to being on par with the metro area. When you adjust it for cost of living, we make more down here. And so, we can get our young teachers to understand that Atlanta being Atlanta is not all that crap to be. The cost of living is higher. You spend more time. You spend about 5 times more in traffic, and it's something about the quality of living, quality of life that you can be somewhere across town in no more than 20 minutes versus taking you 2 hours to go 20 miles at certain times. And also being that we're located conveniently 3 hours from Atlanta, 3 hours from Savannah, 3 hours from Jacksonville, 3 hours from the beaches on the Gulf Coast. So that's a weekend trip because you at a lower cost of living environment, making about the same as you're making in Atlanta. You have money to make. You can go pick those trips when you want to.
With all that
Yes, man. That's our pitch. That's what I tell them when I go see them, and it's all true. By the way, it's all true. So we are looking at that. We're also looking at how we recruit. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're looking at how we recruit. We've been recruiting the same way for quite some time. When I say we, I mean K through 12. We wait until January. We start having job fairs, looking at targeting those students who are about to graduate in May. We're going to have to be more involved in recruitment efforts year-round, establish relationships with the deans and the colleges of education and the department chairs and teacher ed, having small group meetings with teacher education majors, providing workshops and training for them in addition to what they get in school. So when they already graduate, they already know us. They already know the experiences that they get here. And I liken it to college recruiters and coaches. They don't wait till they get to be seniors in high school to go after the top-notch athletes. They establish relationships with them beginning early in their career in high school, and then they get ready to make decisions. They make decisions based on the relationships that have been established and the opportunities that exist. So we're going to move in that direction. That's our plan, to move in that direction. We cannot continue to recruit the way we have been. Ms. Allison has put together a proposal that I'm reviewing right now, and we'll bring to the board in the coming, within the next 2 meetings. Legislative priorities, I'm not going to go over all of them, but our legislative priority, one of our legislative priorities for the last several years has been expansion of pre-K. And I'm pleased to say we had a meeting with the leadership of the Department of Early Care and Learning, DCAL, to discuss expansion of Dougherty County pre-K. Now, the meeting, they didn't agree to 10 classrooms, but we did have a robust discussion. And they understand that we have a strategic plan that where early learning is a critical component of the overall strategic workforce strategic plan in Dougherty County. Barbara Rivera Holmes coming to me at the meeting. I want to thank State Representative Winfred Dukes for organizing the meeting, Representative Hero Green for being there, and Amy Jacobs, the Commissioner of DCAL, along with 3 of her executive staff members. We met for over an hour, had discussions. I talked to them about the investments we made in education, the investments we made in the community, not just by the school system, but by the community at large, the importance of all of those components of our plan, with pre-K being the last one we're approaching. And that was after we made investments on our own in other areas, such as the Georgia Power Initiative, the Instructional Technology Initiative, our plan for the career-focused graduation option, work-based learning opportunities for our students, and those investments, the wraparound services that are required and they understand that that is a disproportionate. Well, students who are in traditionally underserved areas are disproportionately affected, and there's a direct correlation between socioeconomic status, an inverse relationship rather, and academic achievement. That's not because those students can't learn. They were quite familiar with the 30 million word gap. That study that's been some discussion about whether it's 30 million, 32 million, or some other number. It's a big gap.
Yeah.
And that vocabulary gap is the beginning of the academic achievement gap. And if students who are in those families, who come from families who are in poverty, can get in a formal educational setting earlier, the earlier we can impact that gap and begin laying the foundation. And we'll see a turnaround in the student achievement scores in the earlier grades and beyond. They're well aware of the research that says a student who's not reading on grade level by grade 3 is 4 times less likely to graduate on time. We do a remarkable job here getting those students, some who come to us who've been through pre-K 3, regular pre-K. They come to kindergarten knowing how to read, some of them write and know the colors and numbers. And some, quite frankly, come trying to learn how to hold a pencil and have never been into a formal education setting before. And we're trying to close that gap. We have about 600 students who don't get pre-K services, who are eligible for pre-K services on average every year. And by expanding to 10 classrooms, I renovated the Sylvester Road Elementary School building, we can get 220. I told them that's a start. And we need more than that. So we're going to meet again to look at how we can get there. Of course, there are requests from all over the state to increase the pre-K classrooms in their areas. And pre-K is limited to 80,000 classrooms across the state. They don't have any more. And so some years, some pre-K is closed, so they can reallocate those classrooms. But they rarely can reallocate 10 in a year. So just give us 3, 3, and 4. We'll take 3, 3, and 4, or 4, 4, and 2. However, but I also explained to them, they understood that I don't think it's right to divide the pre-K classes equally in different areas of the state. I think it should be divided equitably, and you have a better impact, a more impactful, a better chance to be impactful in communities where the poverty is higher versus more affluent communities, because the achievement gap, the vocabulary gap doesn't exist as much as it does in those communities as it does here. And I remind them of the saying, I think it was Frederick Douglass that said, he who starts out behind in the race of life must run faster than the ones ahead or forever remain behind. So we need to provide an opportunity for these kids to get a quicker start, a jump start in a formal education setting to help close that gap that's been existing for too long. And I also reminded them that of the governor's initiatives and the state legislature's initiative to move economic development beyond the metro area, and that the best way to do that is to create a talent pipeline that potential employers and business owners believe in, because that's the lifeblood of their business. If they don't believe in it, then they won't come. And it takes a coordinated effort. And this is part of the speech I gave them, the presentation I gave them. They bought into it, but they still only have 80,000 classrooms that they can. So I spoke to Representative Dukes, Representative Green. They look like we need to get more funding for pre-K. And we get the first 10 classrooms out of that deal. So anyway, we're working through that. I just want to keep you updated on this. Is as far as we've gotten since we've had it as a priority. The Chamber adopted it as one of their priorities as well, so we appreciate that. And so we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to find a way to make it happen. And our children are going to benefit from it. Quickly, legislative updates as we move. The amended budget has been passed. We went over the highlights for education in the amended budget previously. Has been passed, signed by the governor, and our QBE funding increased by approximately $2.85 million. That's not including the funding for the one-time supplements that are just going in and out, about $2.85 million. We're pleased with that. key legislation that's still moving forward. I've seen harmful materials in school media centers, and we've given you an update on that before. Unmatched Georgia Students was signed Tuesday. Senate Bill 345 prohibits government from mandating vaccines. Initially, it was all vaccines, and then after some conversations, it was just now just COVID vaccine. That's the way it stands right now. It may change, but right now that's where it is. Senate Bill 357 allows active duty military parents to attend any school, provided the parent provides transportation. Senate Bill 545 requires CPR training and the use of an AED in grades 9 and 10. And then open meetings, disruptive process to be followed for removing disruptive participants from public meetings. A few other bills, Parents' Bill of Rights, we'll go over. One that impacts education, dropping the needs development language that impacts teacher certification. Right now, if they are not proficient for multiple years, their certificate can be impacted. And that includes needs development, which is not proficient, but it's not the lowest rating. You can still want to approve that rating and just have it the lowest rating, unsatisfactory rating, only counts to impact teacher certification. And a couple other bills, one that impacts us the most out of the ones we mentioned, House Bill 385, the Return to Work Bill. It still has those restrictions that we're trying to get removed that were in the initial bill. The teacher must have 30 years of service, at least 30 years of service, and return to teach in high needs areas only. And that's identified by the vacancies in a particular RESA. In the Southwest Georgia RESA, the high needs areas are math, science, and special education. So teachers in those high needs areas can come back to work full time once they've retired for at least 1 year, provided they've given 30 years of service.
Strong defense of the area of social science. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I try to see if they can approve 3 areas being elementary, middle, and high. But they saw through that. They saw through that. I couldn't get them on that one. But that would have been
Perfect.
good.
We just have 3 areas of need.
Yes, see, those are the 3 areas. Miss Uriah Barr, she was a DCSS Spelling Bee champion. She won Region 9, the Region 9 Spelling Bee, and Region 9 included 34 schools. She finished 9th in the state spelling bee, so she did a wonderful job representing us very well. Teacher of the Year finalist, Mr. Willis alluded to the fact that he was in the process of serving as one of the judges for that. They are Tony Jones from Lake Park Elementary, Cheryl Lampkin from Lincoln Elementary Magnet School, Miss Okediji from Merrick's Middle School, Monica Terrell from Morningside, and Stephanie Harrison Dyer from Sherwood Acres. So we will congratulate them. We'll be announcing the Teacher of the Year. That's not on this, but it will be in May, the Friday at the end of Teacher Appreciation Week. We changed that from the traditional time, graduation week, make the end of Teacher Appreciation Week. We think that'd be the appropriate way to end that celebration. Have a couple of dates that we want to bring to your attention. Gear Up Spring Festival is going to be held from 11 a.m. I don't have the time on here. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. On the ASU West campus on April 16th. We'll send you information about all these so you can choose to attend the ones you want, just for the information now. The Albany Area Chamber of Commerce annual meeting will be held April 21st on the bricks at the Donatisca where it was last year. We have a table that I think some of you have already indicated your desire to participate. Please, if you want to attend, let Ms. Johnson know, preferably by tomorrow, and so we can make sure we have enough seats available reserved for you. And then I think the feedback we received about the board planning retreat that we're trying to do in conjunction with Albany Area Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Commission, 24th and 25th, 12 to 5 on the 24th and 9 to 5 approximately on the 25th. Those are the dates that came back. And so hopefully we'll be able to attend those. If will be those days wrong and you can't, please let us know, because it will be very, very beneficial for all of the board members to attend if possible. We try to also include the require whole board training, a 3-hour training during that time as well. That's all I have right now. We'll need the executive session. I don't anticipate any action coming out of that, so we can have that at the end of the meeting, so it's not to prolong the audience members who don't want to wait around to come back to get that action item addressed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Then we will go ahead and begin our regular board meeting. Everyone will stand for a moment of silence and the pledge. Thank you. Dr. Fennessy had a medical appointment this morning, and so he asked me to fill in for him, and I was happy to do that. All right, Mr. Superintendent, do we have any further public comments or presentations? So we do have I guess we can do a consent agenda. We do have the addendum 2A to hire Dr. Christine Ford as temporary administrator at Northside, and then we had that other just swap out, but that was already reflected on the website. So,
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second that motion.
all in favor?
That motion, aye.
All opposed, like sign. The agenda passes. Consideration of the approval of minutes from the regular board meeting held on Monday, March 14th, 2022.
So move, Poole.
Hudley, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes. The minutes are approved. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve a consent agenda items 2 through 4B with the addendum
Move.
of item 2A.
Second.
So moved.
Mr. Bush motion. That's a second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion passes. The consent agenda is approved. All right. Do we have any additional comments or concerns before we go into our executive session? I think we have a birthday in the house.
You do?
Miss Heathgate, she looking around.
Yeah, to check us out.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Birthday.
We got cookies in your honor. You get to take home a box of cookies.
Can't have a whole box.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday! Glad you decided to spend it with us. Here we go.
Motion we go into executive session.
I second that motion, Hudley.
Personnel and student.
Have a look at it.
We do.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We are now in executive session. If you would clear the room and take your personal belongings with you. feel like I need to hit.
Superintendent Dougherty, what was that you said you needed to mention?
The Kiwanis art contest, yes, ma'am.
By all means. By all means, mention. All means, mention how creative, how realized stuff. I didn't get to take a picture with it. Listen.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome back.
And,
Mr. Dyer, yes, go ahead, mention that one last thing.
yes, ma'am, and I failed to mention in my report another celebration. We talk about the academic accomplishments of our students, athletic accomplishments.
That's right.
And we certainly value the arts in Dougherty County, and I want
Indeed.
to. I'll be remiss if I didn't mention that we had the annual Kiwanis Club Art Contest. It was held a couple weekends ago, at the Albany Museum of Art. And contest is with 3 Dougherty County high schools, 4 Dougherty County middle schools, as well as some private schools and Lee County schools. And I'm pleased to say that we had several award winners from our students, and that the Radium Middle School, Radium Middle Magnet School of the Arts not only had several winners, but also was named the School of Distinction at the middle school for having the most points for the awards that its students achieved award. And also, I'm pleased to announce that Westover High School was named the School of Distinction at the high school level. So it was a clean sweep by Dougherty County school system schools, and we're very, very proud of them. Ms. Hutley was there. We had Mr. Chung was there. I was pleased to be there. We had several students and their families, and they were very excited, and we were very proud of them. And the elementary display, I think, is going to be at the mall.
Right.
Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's there now.
And then the following week, we'll have the middle and high school artwork on display at the mall on the old Sears wing. There's no Sears building there anymore. They've torn that part down. So I think they call it the Old Navy wing for that hallway. It'll be on that hallway, and we'll give you the dates on that. We'll get those so you can go out there and at your leisure and enjoy the artwork that our young people created. Thank you.
That point to that point, I'd like to personally, in our minutes, state that I appreciate the Lions Club for always investing in our students.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.